right, Clark Cougar fans, my name is Patrick Lewis. Thank you for joining us. This is a special interview we have, and I am super excited to introduce to my right the new head football coach for your Clark Montessori varsity football team, Mr. Gregg Pickett. Greg, thank you for joining me today.
No problem. Glad to be here, Patrick.
Yes, I'm happy you're here because we get to talk a little bit about yourself, the program Clark is at the moment, and where you decided to take the program. It's going to be very interesting to hear your take on it because coming off a couple of 500 seasons, 2 5-5 seasons, with the previous head coach, Joe Berta, who has moved on, and quite honestly, it's interesting to see that we have now a person that's inside the building is going to be working with Clark Montessori, and it's something that I think the students really want in their program. So tell us first a little bit about yourself, where you came from. Are you from Cincinnati? And just give the viewers and some fans who you are.
Well, yeah, I'm a Cincinnati guy. Born here, parents moved out east. Grew up in Batavia, Ohio. Went to Glen Estee High School.
Okay.
Played 4 years there under Zach Taylor and Ray Ayers. Had a fantastic football career there. I mean, those guys really taught me the fundamentals of football, and it helped me carry on to play college for Defiant.
Gotcha. Okay, so do you have any siblings here, or how's family life? Are they still here on the east side?
I'm the oldest of 3. I have 2 younger sisters, twins.
Twins?
So, yeah. So I was in big brother role my whole life. So yep.
Okay. And how young are they? How much younger are they?
My sister, sisters are 2 years younger than me.
Okay. 2 years younger. So I mean, older brother, but still, not old enough to get told what to do. Right.
Yeah.
So for just the early part of their life, they're saying, "Hey, big brother Greg,"
right.
But now they're once they got into teenagers and whatnot.
Yeah. I don't think they ever called me big brother. It was just Greg. Greg, get out my room. Greg, get out the bathroom. That's it.
That's fair. Never had a sister, so I'll take your word on it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned you're from Cincinnati boy. Went to Glen Estee, and you went to Defiance.
Yes.
You went there for college. Tell us a little bit about your career at Defiance. What position did you play?
I was a nose tackle at Defiance. I played a little bit of D-end as well.
Okay.
I went there to study criminal justice. I had a full intent on becoming a police officer afterwards.
Is that right?
Yeah, and kind of had a career path change. But my football career was great. I got to travel all 4 years. Was a captain for 3.
There you go.
Made all HCAC selection, all Ohio selection, and got invited to an All-American Bowl game. So it was fun.
Yeah.
A lot of good football played at Defiance.
Yeah, and HCAC is Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference.
Yes.
Division III.
Yes.
What's something you take away from your time at Defiance? Because Division III football, people don't know a whole lot about Division III football. Most of the people are used to the local universities like Xavier University, University of Cincinnati,
Right.
Dayton University, the Flyers and whatnot. So tell us a little bit about Division III football.
Division III guys that commit to play there really love the game of football because you're not on scholarship, you're not getting the best equipment that you see, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. You don't see,
Sure.
You don't get that type of treatment, but you really get to learn the game at the next level.
The fundamentals.
Yes.
The more in tune you become with the game, then
Yes.
is what you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
So it was, playing Division III, you have to have a love for the game. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. And for people that are in Division I compared to Division III, you say the love of the game. That means you're not getting handed things on platters. Meaning that you get a lot of opportunities as D1 college athlete, a lot more exposure, a lot more things to play for. And sometimes you see your family a lot more.
Yeah.
That per se.
And, not saying the guys at Division I level don't love the game, but there's some perks to playing the game at Division I. You get the TV time. Family can watch you play. Every game that you're in, you can see them on TV. So, I'm not saying they don't love the game, but there's some perks to playing Division I football.
Cool. Now let's segue into so you went from Defiance and you came. How old are you? First of all,
24.
You're 24. So we have a very young head coach. I don't know if we mentioned that at the beginning of this broadcast, but 24. So he's got a little scruff here that maybe makes him look older. But he's a very young coach, very knowledgeable coach, as we've already gone to a little bit. So you came right out of Defiance. And you went into Glen Estee, correct? As a coach.
Well,
help us out.
For a little bit, I came back home and I worked for a company, TQL, Freight Brokers Company. And I was away from the game. And I was kind of still training guys from Glen Estee, some guys at watched me play when they were, little guys running around. So they were looking to go play college football. So they wanted to, work out and things and kind of, get my knowledge, I guess, of that. Was away from it, missed it, left that job and said I'm going to go volunteer at CPS, Cincinnati Public Schools, and then volunteer at Glen Esther.
Okay.
Which obviously led to me getting a job here at Clark, the greatest school in the nation, in my opinion. And then went on to work with Nick Ayers, who was a fantastic players coach. He used to come around when I was in high school. And, the things he would talk about, the motivation he would give to us. I mean, he's a fantastic guy.
Cool.
Had a great season my first year. We went 6-5, lost in the first round to LaSalle.
And what were you doing at Glen Esther? You said you're at Glen Esther.
Defensive line coach.
Defensive line coach.
Yeah.
So you play defensive line, and now you're coaching the defensive line.
Yeah.
And you went 7-6.
Yeah.
And lost to LaSalle.
Yeah.
In your first season. And what happened after that first season?
We had a lot of guys return. That this past senior class, they were hungry. They were hungry. They felt that defeat in the first round. They said, we don't want it to happen again, and they worked. I said, we had a great offseason. So this past year, 8-3. Unfortunately, lost again in the first round to Turpin. So, but it was a great year.
It happened. So good, awesome. So you had some good coaching experience coming to Clark, and what drew you to Clark? I mean, let's talk a little bit about why Aaron, the athletic director, saw potential in you, because he saw you here every day. He's a paraprofessional. You're a paraprofessional here at Clark Montessori High School. And what's that mean? Tell people what a paraprofessional is.
Day-to-day activities, working with students, helping them with their grades and whatnot. As you know, working with, we worked with Isaac Bender, that's who I worked with last year. Now I'm up in the junior high as a classroom aide, working with, split classrooms, so math one day, science another day.
Yeah.
And, you really get to know the kids working here as a parent.
And that's exactly what I think Aaron saw in you, because you're here from day to day. You interact with them on a personal level. You smile with them. You have high five them. You mentor them a lot more than a typical football coach that would
hold them accountable. That's my thing.
Exactly. And talk about that accountability with the MORE program.
Yeah. So MORE program, men organized, respectful, and educated. A group of young men put together, guys that want to strive for excellence. And some guys that need a little more push, to reach their full potential. Being in the building, I see these guys every day. So when I see you hanging out in the hallway 5 seconds after the bell rings, I'm saying, hey man, where are we supposed to be? Keep moving. And it's grown into guys holding each other accountable, which is the purpose of it. We are here as coaches and as parents and as mentors to them, but if they can, govern themselves, that's a perfect world. I mean, everybody benefits from that.
Right. So 2 years here being a para. This is your second year being a para.
Yes.
First year now as a MORE program at CPS here at Clark Montessori High School, because it is a CPS program, correct?
Yep.
So now that you're with MORE and now that you're the head coach here, what kind of MORE attributes, what kind of elements can you see maybe transitioning to some of the football players? Because honestly, being a football player myself, there's a lot of discipline that comes with it. Yeah. And being in a Cincinnati public school, how is that different than, let's say, like a Moeller High School or like a St. Ives or like a GCL type of school that doesn't necessarily have the troubles that we do necessarily with their young people?
Well, a lot of these guys are from the same neighborhoods. They've known each other for a while. So, again, that accountability piece. I've known you for a long time. I know your potential. I'm going to hold you accountable. So bringing the MORE program in, that kind of reinforces it as well. And then that's my goal as a head coach now at the program. I want to have these guys understand that this is the best school in the country and that they're here for a reason. And whatever that purpose is, they can figure it out and use that as a driving force for success.
Good. Okay, so let's transition a little bit more about the football side of things. We've got a little bit about your background and what you've done, but looking forward to football, what's exciting about this season? Man. Coming off, 500, there's so much potential.
We have a lot of returning athletes and a lot of youth coming up. I mean, in the junior high class, Tyron Davis, Chris Anderson, just to name a few, Shannon Brewster coming up. Returners, the offensive line, we got Eric Prather, we got Gary Bryant, and just a few other guys that are going to come back and be solid football players for us and leaders.
Yeah. They're going to be very happy you name dropped.
Yes. I was going to go through all of them.
There's not enough time, right? Of course. So what intrigued you about this job? So coming from Glen Esther, you see, obviously, you're here at Clark Montessori High School. You're in the environment. You're immersed, right? The culture here has now become you. What intrigued you about this head coaching job, and what made you just automatically think this is what I want to do?
And talking to these kids on the daily, I see the drive. I see the love for football.
That's exciting.
Talking to them, I can. It's weird to say. I see myself in them a little bit.
That's
like
good.
when they talk about, oh man, I love going to practice. That's my escape for the day. And that's it. That's what excited me and really convinced me to take this position. Because there are some guys here that are ready to commit to excellence. They're ready to take that next step of being, not just being 5-5, but 8-2. You know what I'm saying? 9-1. We can get there. I mean, there's going to be a lot of work along the way, a lot of running, a lot of sweating,
Yeah.
So, but I got a plan, and these guys are hungry.
Okay. I feel that there's a theme right now for you that the locker room headline is going to be commitment to excellence.
Yes.
Do you think something like that's going to happen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And do you see any leaders? Like we talked a little about the MORE program, accountability. What leaders? I mean, just obviously you're not going to name any captains right now. We're not going to do that. But just out of thought, like who's the first person that comes to your mind coming back, and maybe a senior that can really make a difference?
Gary Bryant comes to mind. He's a big guy. Obviously one of the bigger guys here on campus.
Defensive line,
offensive line, and he loves the game, and everyone around him knows that. Now he needs to step into the role of taking over, holding each other accountable, being in the weight room and leading by example. I mean, Cam Calmise as well. A lot of guys. I mean, I could name off a few. So.
Okay. Gotcha. So I just thought of this question. I'm not sure how it relates, but right now we have basketball practice going on, and I'm not sure if you hear that ambient noise in the background, but it just made me think that a lot of our athletes, we have a very small group last year. I mean, 20, 30 max, right? On our football team. All these athletes play two sports: basketball, football, track, whatever it may be, right? What's your worry with these kids getting exhausted and not really having you say the love of the game is there, the passion, right? That's what we love as, coaches and fans. We love to see the passion in their eyes and going out there trying their hardest every single play. But is there any concern there?
Not really. I like it that, we're going to be in shape because a lot of our guys are two-sport athletes. As long as they're doing the right things to take care of their body, rehab, and training the right way, not over-exhausting themselves.
Okay.
And of course, going home and doing their homework.
Okay. Gotcha. So, just to finish up, looking forward to this season, what's the biggest thing you're excited about? What's the biggest thing about getting your hands on, getting dirty, getting those fingernails underneath things?
Getting this group and getting them on the field, lining up, putting people in positions, getting after it, running, installing that hustle. Learning that, if we want to be great, we have to commit to excellence. And seeing that applied, to these guys. Because I know they can do it. I'm excited. I see it in them. Cool. I'm ready to go.
That's awesome. So, we'll finish up here. What is something that you have done already to start inking your stamp on this program? It doesn't have to be big. It could be just saying, hey, Gary, get in the weight room. What's something that you've already started putting in the process? Because, this hire is super new. We're talking week. 2 weeks, if that, right? What's something that you've already kind of put your foot down and started doing?
Like I said earlier, the accountability, seeing guys, making sure they're in class, make sure they're doing the right thing. I mean, it's the little steps that's going to add up to our success.
Okay.
So, me being in the building helps as well. So guys aren't hiding; they can't hide from missing class or missing weight room. I'm not saying that they always do, but there's some stragglers. Well,
yeah, of course, you're always going to have that. We all were at some point, right?
Right.
Awesome, cool. Well, Gregg, pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. This is great. I am really excited about this upcoming football season to get above 500, getting winning season under Clark Montessori's belt. Having seen some of these athletes, I'm really excited. When's football start? When's our first game? I know spring starts coming up here. I know it's winter, but we're thinking spring.
Our first game is in September, or August, I believe, up in Ponix, Dayton.
Ponix, Dayton.
All
right.
So that'll be on a Thursday night.
Okay, sounds good. Awesome. So, my name is Patrick Lewis. This is Gregg Pickett. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.